Yeah, it makes us incredibly sick. It is disgusting and disturbing on so many levels to see the people, not only the ones that are abusing our children, but the ones protecting the abusers. And you gotta serve and protect them all, right? No? No, you don't. No, you don't either. You took an oath. It's your job. It appears that whether or not somebody took an oath or it's their job or there's a trespassing order or a restraining order, apparently, it's pretty disturbing when you look at the level of abuse and what a lot of these children have been going through. It makes us absolutely sick. It's so sick and disgusting to us, day in and day out, knowing what's going on with some of these hostages and children while these pigs just protect their fucking drugs and other bullshit. Hopefully. I sure hope so. You're welcome. We're having green tea and elderberry. Yeah, it's those, hold on, I'll show you. For $10, I got both of these at Walmart. This is the, yeah, Uncle Lee. He's really good. All the way from China. Yes. Hold on, I'm looking for it. Uncle Lee's organic tea comes from high in the mountains of the Fuji province of China and is grown without pesticides. With natural fertilizer and with certified attention for the preservation of the ecosystem. Yeah, it's really good. I love this green tea. You get 100 tea bags, Walmart, $5. And then this, you only get 20 tea bags, but you're also getting, each tea bag has 1,400 milligrams of elderberry and also the flour, 600 milligrams of the elderberry flour. With or without my glasses, I probably still make those little blurbs, so it's okay. Sometimes during certain times of day and lighting, it is helpful. Yeah, it kind of helps, like, clear some of the static or something. Yeah. Alright, page 135, chapter 12, the Word made flesh. And the Word was made flesh and dwelt among us. Yeah, it's a full read we're doing. We're almost done with this one, last chapter. It's taken a little while. Yeah, probably. The children of God are not born of the flesh. They are born of God alone. But they would not have been born of God had the Word not become flesh, and the Son had not taken our substance, and the Spirit not taken flesh. The spiritual Word became flesh so that our flesh might become spiritual. Because the Son became as we are, we can become as He is, children of God. The incarnation should not be considered in the light of the virgin birth, so much as in the light of the fact that the Lord has an earthly mother like us, a mother of flesh and blood, who nourished Him from her body and fed Him with her milk, that He did not live above us, but among us, on the same level of the flesh as us, has a body among other bodies, a man among men. He Himself was the Word, and He remained the Word. He communicated Himself to us in the flesh because He was flesh like us, and spiritually because He was the Word which was in the beginning with God. Being flesh and spirit simultaneously, He reaches our spirit through our bodies and spiritually soaks our bodies through and through, so that what is spirit in us and what is his spirit in us may return to the Father. If he had not lived among us, our bodies would have returned to dust. And what would have become of our spirit? Everything would fail and fall, both body and spirit. But as it is, everything will rise again. The body participates in the resurrection because the Son has a body. The Spirit participates because it is in communion with the Spirit of the Lord. His faith in us was that we would recognize him and believe in his flesh. He showed us his love by coming from the Father to the flesh, and we in our turn must show him our love by going from the flesh to the Father. His hope was to become flesh in order that it might be our hope to become spirit. Because we were mere flesh before his coming, we could only grasp the union of the Son and the Father and the separation of the Son from the Father in the flesh. The Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Yeah, and you can take that upon any kind of relationship or truth, right? Or when those two meet face to face, whether it be a bum on the street. Yeah, it could be anybody. It could be absolutely anybody. Right, it doesn't necessarily mean a father and a son biologically, right? Do you understand these terms in a overall sense? I mean, apparently, I don't know, I gotta get that stupid with it in some of these worlds where people are playing stupid on purpose, covering up their drugs and sick bullshit, and we have young children here in the hands of sick murderous pedophiles while these fucking druggies and punks and traffickers and sluts play their games. So hopefully the proper authorities are able to help these children by acknowledging the facts we've been talking about. Well, for years, those facts have been considered conspiracy to even talk about. Yeah, it's fucking sick and disgusting when you look at what's going on with the vaccines and SSRIs. It's not that difficult. And when people are playing fucking stupid and pushing their goddamn frickin' Botox and Kamichiwawa, you can't blame them, right? I know, the kimchi is a good product. I'm sorry, I won't knock it too much. That actually, I mean, it's like a vinegar, right? What is it actually made of? Have you looked it up? Why don't you look it up? Right, is it like sauerkraut? Right, so for years, remember back in the day, we worked for the sales and marketing company, Apex Marketing, and they were working out of a chicken barn in Litchfield. We worked for them for a very short period of time. Yeah, some dude from Hawaii teamed up with some guys. His dad owned a chicken farm. They used the old chicken barn, that long chicken barn, as a call center. Yeah, we were actually hired on in one of the first teams when there was only like 3 or 4 of us that seemed, yeah. It seemed there was never more than 3 or 4 of us working at the same time. I mean, they had the managers, right? There was like 3 or 4 of them. And then there'd be 3 or 4 of us on the phones. Yeah, I gotta go deep, you know, especially with those Verogenics products. Yeah. They sold this ultra blocker product, and it was pretty much apple cider vinegar. I was like, well, what is it that's helping them lose weight? And so you look it up and you're like, oh, that makes so much sense. It also helps to balance the pH, bacteria, probiotics. It's like a probiotic, yeah. So kimchi, it's a Korean side dish of salted and fermented vegetables. Let's see, mostly common Napa cabbage or Korean cabbage seasoned with ingredients like kakarugaru, chili powder, gakagaru, thank you, garlic, ginger, and spring onions. It's a staple in Korean cuisine. Was that? Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. It's just a thing that happens. Sometimes I try to not let that shine through, but it happens. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, that can be placed into anything, really. Upbringing, neurological damage, brain damage, nerve damage. Do you hear like a slur or a lisp sometimes? Yeah, no, this is just green tea and elderberry. Cheers. No, I don't drink or take any prescription drugs. But thank goodness they're there, if I needed them. Right, like an antibiotic or, there are life-saving medications, insulin, you never know. So yeah, thank goodness it's available if I needed it. Right, and when you look at over the years what a lot of these sickos and state workers and people committing the fraud, drug addicts and pieces of shit. I know when you listen to what they've been saying we should be taking, does it hear voices? Is it talking to itself? Yeah, people need to wake the fuck up. What we've been dealing with these people since we were kids is disturbing. We were put on the programs when we were 18 for a reason in the year 2000. Right. So the level of abuse and horrific neglect was already above and beyond disgusting to a lot of people. That's just the way it was. I know you can't control what the children do, right? So what is in the kimchi pills you're buying? Right, so it's a good product if you don't want to have to... Right. Because not everybody likes to drink vinegar. You can get it as a powder. You can get pills or powder. It's probiotics. Cubit, Brightcore, Probio. Just like anything else, right? Yeah. It's like a probiotic, right? So what's the problem? Oh, you're giving me a hard time because you think I'm giving you a hard time for selling it? No, we kind of make fun. We just remember, years and years of this stuff and the connecting lines to some of these fundraising groups and pieces of shit traffickers and druggies that think it's okay to get the retards and use our state services and funding military ops. Give me a fucking break. Right. And when you look at the investigations and the reasons that they use, yep, there's a terrorist, right? And then when you have the people around here protecting these punks that have been trying to label us as terrorists, for what reason? What reason did you suspect they were talking to terrorists? Go ahead. Yeah, when you start to look at it, it's fucking disgusting and disturbing what they've been doing.
Yeah, they've been putting people in danger all over the world, actually, with their bullshit and how they use counterparts to message people. Just poke at them a little bit. Right, and then just any kind of communication. Oh, they're talking to terrorists. Right, and a lot of those middle people from different parts of the world we've been in communications with that say the guff they have gotten over the years. Lost family members, been attacked, broken bones, businesses destroyed. Yeah, so what are you going to do? Okay, so we're trying to not retaliate by just doing what they do and blowing shit up and getting rid of people. Oh, yeah, you're going to do that? Well, your kids are going to pay then. And no, your kids are going to pay. Well, we'll bomb your land. We'll bomb your boats. We'll bomb this. We'll blow this up. Oh, it's fun, right? I think they're trying to show people that. I think what's going on with this whole war in Iran and everything, they've been exposing these activist groups we've been talking about. Ukraine, Wuhan, Iran. How many years have we been fucking doing this? Can we please help the fucking hostages and children in the hands of these punks? You can do that by stop coddling each other's childish beliefs with ghosts and aliens and pushing prescription drugs and vaccines on people. They're all connected to the same business lines, and it's fucking disgusting. Big Pharma, Pfizer. How many years have people been screaming out about this stuff? Right. And then it just becomes some fucking personal story of how they're getting ignored and demonetized. And come see us on Rumble. We'll be visiting you in these cities. Yeah, I really hope so. I really, really hope so. Yeah, it's kind of a little more gray and purpley now. You're welcome. Is it okay? I know I've had some third parties tell me no matter which way I turn it, get kind of privacy complaints. What about the ceiling? Can I just point at the ceiling? Just my eyeball. just wow, people are fucked, dude. Hopefully anyone listening wakes up and helps these children. We're already dead. We're not trying to fucking audition for anything, sell you anything, prove anything. It's already done. We're just trying to wake people up to the truth and help them accept the things they don't want to accept. And why wouldn't you want to accept it? Were you one of the ones getting the care and the non-vax or the bully? And then the people you're involved with are doing that too. I know, you're just going to just let each other down. How could you? How can you even talk about the vaccines? Yeah, it's really sick and disturbing, the level of immaturity and sickness we're dealing with in this world. So hopefully the proper authorities do what they're supposed to do to help them. You're welcome. All right. How long are we at here? 18 minutes. Everything would fail and fall, both body and spirit, but it is everything. But as it is everything, will rise again. The body participates in the resurrection because the Son has a body. The Spirit participates because it is in the communion. Oh, we're a few more paragraphs down. Hold on. Okay, both are in order within the framework. Is that better? You're welcome. Thank you. Both are in order within the framework of the subordination of the flesh to the spirit. And then, too, since the Word was spiritual in its incarnation, and since we must reach the Father through the incarnate Word, there is also the possibility that in the place of this balanced harmony, marriage, the center of gravity may be entirely transposed into the spirit. Then the flesh may be absorbed into the spirit and almost forgotten, or it may be utterly separated from the spirit and born as a burden on earth.
a penance, a thorn that we must bear with us, and the rebellion of the impulses and the struggle with them lasts a lifetime. The whole breadth of these possibilities is embraced in the fact that the Lord was in the flesh and that he was so in pure love. The surprising love of the Lord is the criterion of every possible relation between the spirit and the flesh. That is to say, his love is the norm of the relation between the spirit and the flesh in every particular instance, however different or even opposed they may be. And because the Lord was in the flesh, we need no longer love ourselves in the flesh, but can love the Lord in the flesh. And because he lived in our spirit through the flesh, we need not love ourselves in the spirit, but can serve him in the spirit. The Word was made flesh means further that contemplation becomes action. The word that comes from the Father comes from contemplation. The Son in the Father is contemplation, comes down upon earth to action and returns to contemplation. But if he was pure contemplation before his birth, then his whole earthly life was both contemplation and action. The 30 years in Nazareth were primarily contemplative. The 3 years of work were primarily active. But even being active, he never ceased to be contemplative. And when he returns into the contemplation of the Father, he bears his action with him. His contemplation is different and richer than it was formerly. Since the Incarnation, there are only shades of difference in the inseparable unity of action and contemplation. In the most active moments, he was contemplative. In the most contemplative, was active. The Word was made flesh means furthermore that the word proclaimed must become act of charity. When the word thus becomes act, charity in the end becomes word again. For each time God sends forth the word, over the years, for some reason, it becomes so easy to be charitable. Here's some money. I'm charitable. Oh yeah? What organization did you give to? Blind kids? Oh, aren't you a saint? Right, okay. The 30 years in Nazareth, the word was made flesh means furthermore that the word proclaimed must become act of charity. When the word thus becomes act, charity in the end becomes word again. For each time God sends forth the word, it bears with it the movement of return to God. A lot of them know that. They prey on that kind of stupidity, and it's just gotten so stupid that they know that. When you look at the funding, they know it's bullshit. Oh, we're going to study string theory again? Oh boy. Charity is here to, right. If we turn the right side, cold water, left side, hot water. Let's keep doing this. Yep, see what sometimes, why is the hot coming out of the right? Cold's coming out of the, someone messed things up. You got a half-ass backwards plumber back there? Or? It happens sometimes. So right isn't always cold, then, right? What are you talking about? Yeah, exactly. I sure hope so. I really hope so. Then the flesh may be absorbed into the spirit and almost forgotten, or it may be utterly separated from the spirit and born as a burden on earth, a penance, a thorn that we must bear with us, and the rebellion of the impulses and the struggle with them lasts a lifetime. The whole breadth of these possibilities is embraced in the fact that the Lord was in the flesh, and that he was so in pure love. The surpassing love of the Lord is the criterion of every possible we did just read this. Thank you for noticing. That means you're aware. Just like to make sure you're listening, The surpassing love of the Lord is the criteria, and they will use it as a look, she doesn't even know what she's doing. She's saying the same thing over and over again. She's talking to herself.
Yeah, and it just justifies all their bullshit. It's fucking sick and disgusting what's been going on here for a long time.
Anyways, the Word was made flesh means further that contemplation becomes action. The Word that comes from the Father comes from contemplation. The Son in the Father is contemplation, comes down upon earth to action and returns to contemplation. But if he was pure contemplation before his birth, then his whole earthly life was both contemplation and action. The 30 years in Nazareth were primarily contemplative. The 3 years of work were primarily active. But even being active, he never ceased to be contemplative. And when he returns into the contemplation of the Father, he bears his action with him. His contemplation is different and richer than it was formerly. Since the Incarnation, there are only shades of difference in the inseparable unity of action and contemplation. In the most active moments, he was contemplative.
In the most contemplative, active.
The Word was made flesh means furthermore that the Word proclaimed must become act of charity. When the Word thus becomes act, charity in the end becomes Word again. For each time God sends forth the Word, it bears with it the movement of return to God. Charity here is to be understood simply as a concrete act of love, the giving of alms. For example, alms which may be collected after the word of the sermon, and has everything done for the poor, the sick, the dying, for prisoners. Through these seemingly corporeal works of mercy, the poor return to the Spirit, care for the body, because the Word was made flesh. Returns to the Spirit, care for the body. You can call it self-care, but then that sounds selfish, doesn't it?
And sometimes you might be also caring for someone else's body. You could be a caretaker, partner in crime, whatever it is. But in order to know how to care for someone else's body, you gotta know how to care for your own, right? Are you just going by what you were taught in a book? Yeah, no wonder. Yeah, you got a freaking neck brace and an inhaler, so that's probably why. Didn't you want to tell me? Right, well, I'm not giving you advice about that. Oh, trust me, there are things about us that are so far gone and damaged. Yeah, we're dead. We are decaying dead mothers. Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, well, my gosh. Hey, Chip. Remember Chip from Beauty and the Beast, the little pup? Was that his name, Chip? Yeah, you know, some things are very far gone, damaged. That's kind of the point. Yeah, you know, in a lot of rehab classes, oftentimes the moderators and teachers of those classes have been there, done that. Been in and out of prison. You know, they know. I mean, no one's complaining about that. Right, no, a lot of people have quite a huge rap sheet. Doesn't mean a damn thing. I mean, you got to be able to look at things and assess. Right, it's pretty simple. When people want to be so standardized and just checking boxes, and you're dealing with those kind of people, yeah, that's when people wind up getting shot in the face. Drive, baby, drive. Yeah, it's fucking insane. Right, so hopefully the proper authorities do what they're supposed to do. I mean, anyone listening, you can help by addressing the vaccines and right, I mean, there's a few things. Remember that handful of stuff? Right, and we won't even go any further because right there, you can see just to address that, it's been labeled conspiracy. People get security called on them. That got old to us in 2010. We had already been dealing with the vaccine freaks flipping out saying we were going to kill other people for not vaccinating. Yeah, wow. Right, well, with what happened with our first son and the infectious disease specialist and all that in 2006, I mean, the long ongoing research and our own personal experiences, we think, you know what, we're not going to vaccinate our second son. Right, and then these people were flipping out about the vitamin K. They were pushing, saying it was going to cause blood clots, and I actually looked it up. I'm like, actually, they're making sense. I don't think these people are as crazy as what you're telling me they are. No, hold on a second. Hold on. You know, I've actually seen this before. Just kind of a different face, male, female. It changes over the years. Same freaking thing. I wasn't always able to look into it the way I am nowadays. I had an encyclopedia and pop rocks and a cap gun. Pew pew! Get away from me, you fucking psycho turtle washer. Right. So anyways. Right, you gotta be able to take things into consideration. That doesn't mean all turtle washers are freaks, or freaks in disguise. They're just so sadly misunderstood. Oh Lord, please don't let me be misunderstood. Yeah, that's where I'm gonna go when I die. Right, so you gotta take things into consideration, right? Into consideration, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, hopefully. Thank you. It is 7:41 in the morning here. The act of giving, which occurs in giving alms, is not exhausted in the gift. The act of giving, which occurs in giving alms, ALMS, look it up, is not exhausted in the gift. Even if it is given without a word, it goes on to the Word of God and leads back to Him. Right, it's something as simple as that, where it's like, the thing is deciding, no, I'm not going to look it up, because it almost feels like it's being tricked, like it's making me do this. And if I look this up, then the joke's on me. Yep, they got me to say underwear. Just grow the fuck up. The Word becomes flesh means, finally, that Christian parents, in their sacramental marriage, not only beget the body and flesh of their child, the child of Christian parents, also born and begotten of the Spirit, of the sacramental word of their marriage, so that even before it is baptized, it is a different child from the child of pagan parents. It is born of the Spirit because it springs from the sacrament. The spirit of marriage becomes flesh, which in its turn becomes spirit. It is born of the Spirit because it springs from the sacrament. The spring of marriage becomes flesh, which in its turn becomes spirit. For example, through the baptism of the child, and then again, in a wider sense, through extreme unction and a Christian death, for it is the parent's sacramental marriage that prepares the way for extreme unction, which is, in a sense, contained in the effect of that grace. There is a relationship between the two sacraments, a common origin. The daily inclusion of the incarnate Word in our lives is the Our Father. It starts with an invocation, with an invocation. It starts with an invocation of the Father. It goes on to beg for the flesh and returns to the Spirit in the prayer for salvation. The bread we pray for is, in the first place, our earthly bread, but it is also the Eucharistic bread, the Word made flesh. The Eucharist is the perpetual reminder of the Incarnation in our lives. The other, Our Father, its daily inclusion. The Word made flesh dwelt among us.
That means it is not a theory, a myth, a philosophy, a religious system, but quite simply the presence of the Lord among us. God lived the life of a man among us. He brought before our eyes and gave a visible demonstration of what it means to live for God on earth. He did so within limits which are ours and within possibilities accessible to all of us. Everything in his life can be verified, every detail tested experimentally. Everything is on the level on which we live. He is like the son of a rich employer who offers to live with the poorest of his father's workers in order to test whether one can really manage on the wages and in those conditions. He deposits his entire inheritance with his father so that on the cross he will no longer know that he possesses it. He surrenders his divinity
to always take care of their own. That promise is still at the heart of everything we do. Why our members know we'll do what's right. Because at USAA, we take care of our own. This doesn't look like the pictures.
Goldfish have short memories.
He deposits his entire inheritance with his Father, so that on the cross he will no longer know that he possesses it. He surrenders his divinity and takes for the road no more than we have, through his grace, faith, love, and hope. He lives among us in the identical conditions we live in.